I'm Victor Stabin, and today I'm going to take you on a little journey. We're going to take a thin sketch and turn it into a fully realized illustration. But before we get started with this artistic pursuit, I want to remind you to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Just search for Victor Stabin. Today's video is inspired by the process behind my book, Daedal, Doodle, the ABC book for the ages. Daedal Doodle is available at my website at victorstabin.com/shop. Okay, so now I'm going to get started with the process of me making the letter A. We already know that we're starting with a list of words. This particular list of words took me to the apperceptive adjutina. Apperception is the mind's ability to perceive itself, and an adjutina is a giant African snail. Those are the words that I chose. I love the word apperception because I actually ran into it in my mid-20s, where somebody said to me, "Oh, Victor, you're so apperceptive." And I said, "Oh, Joan, what are you talking about?" It's stuck in my head. It's not a word that you really get to use commonly, but I knew it, and I thought to myself, this is, again, personal, right? I actually had a conversation about 30 years previous. The first sketch is up here. It's a picture of a big snail, and it's looking in a mirror at itself. Next to the snail is a little table with an apple and a vase that has some flowers in it. Here it is again, looking at itself in the foreground. I took this idea and I started to develop it in that I went to Google and I found these Snail Textures, right? You know, you want to find something that is lush and has a certain dynamic. Snails, like anything else, can have a very smooth, simple coloring on it, or it could be wild. So I went with wild, and I started to render it up, and I would say this is my first iteration of that rendering. And what we have here is just a regular piece of paper with a ballpoint pen and a whiteout correction pen. What happens after I get to this stage is I put it in Photoshop. It starts to get airbrushed, and as it gets airbrushed, things start to become smooth and sexy and look much more finished, okay? And the thing that I like about this technique is that it does start with a ballpoint pen. It does keep the wrist in the image. It's just not something that is very slick and computerized. Another example of what I did for this particular piece was I have the little table. The little table has 3 legs, but because computers are such great duplication machines, and maybe I was feeling a little lazy, or I just didn't want to mirror this leg, I took this leg off, flopped it, and put it on the other side. So over here, if you follow me with the camera to this is more of the finish, right? A table with a vase, all done starting with a ballpoint pen and a correction stick, put into Photoshop, and then airbrushed. And I put a little cup on the table to give this whole image a sense of scale. So we now know with this cup that this snail is big. And the only thing I don't have on the wall here are initial sketches of the mirror that the snail is looking in. I don't know why. Maybe it was totally made up digitally. I think it might have been. That's the story of the illustration. The story of the lettering is this. Very simply, if you look at the size of my hand, this little drawing over here is the first sketch of the letter A. So it's just about 2 inches tall, maybe a little bit more. That gets scanned into the computer, blown up, and by the time I get to a finished A, which is this over here, which we might want to look at on a digital file because this is fading. By the time we get to the finish on the letter A, I've worked on it for about a week. Each letter took me about a week to create. So that's going to be all for today. I want to thank you for allowing me to inspire you to go out and create your own fantastic pieces of art. And don't forget to subscribe. Hit the notification bell, leave a comment. Love to hear your comments. If you'd like to know more about my work, or if you'd like to shop for art, prints, apparel, and more, please visit victorstabin.com/shop. And I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. So we have some stuff going on here. We're filming now?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to talk about the initial We're going to talk about the first letter in the alphabet, the letter A. Okay? All right, hi. Oh,